Hello, this is the Road Glide Rider, and I got a video for you that hopefully will help you save money. You ever want to do a little regular maintenance yourself, but you say, oh man, it's so hard, I don't know how to do it, and you don't want to pay the high dollar to the dealer, or you want to change some little thing on your bike, change the primary from black to chrome, or from chrome to black, and you got a good deal on a new primary, but you don't want to take it to the dealer to have it done because, hey, they charge so much. Or it's time for your 10,000 mile checkup or your 15,000 mile checkup, and in your checkup, in your service, it calls to check and adjust your clutch. Yeah, but hey, that sounds real complicated. Well, I'm going to show you how to do it real easy. It's super simple. You can do it in your own garage or out in your patio. You don't have to take it to the dealer to get that high dollar done. So I'm going to turn around and I'm going to show you because I'm going to change the primary on mine from chrome to black. I've got some new derby cover for it and things like this. And I'll show you how easy it is to do it yourself and not pay that high dollar to the dealer. So stand by and I'll show you what I have to get started. This is what is required for me to replace the outer primary. Also, for the primary off, I can check the tension on the primary chain, and you can adjust your clutch either with or without the primary in place. So these are the tools you're going to be needing to take the primary off. Of course, the driver running board, you need to move out of the way to get to the Allens that hold the primary on. So that's why the Allen's there, and of course there's the T27 for the derby cover, and of course then the 5/16 for the Allen's that hold the primary on. And of course the Allen, the primary oil, which takes, when you take the derby cover off, what they call dry, you takes a full 34 ounces, or it's 1 liter. And of course, if all you're doing is draining the primary from the drain plug under the primary, but not taking the cover off, then it takes 30 ounces or 0.9 liters of primary fluid. And you can use the standard multi-weight engine oil in your primary, but Harley does sell a synthetic primary and gear case oil, which I'm using my primary. It's made specifically for those. Now I'm also, you notice down here, I have a new derby cover and a timing cover. Now I'm a Vietnam veteran and I served in the Army, so I got some special covers. Now the company I got them from, which is really good, is these guys right here. I'm going to put a link to them down in the description, so you can go to them and you can get either just the derby cover or just timing cover. They sell sets. Now, they had a set with both the Army on the timing cover and the derby cover, but I wanted one saying Vietnam veteran and the other saying Army. So they set me up a thing, gave me a deal for 2 of them, of course. And I'm not getting the deal because I'm putting a video on this. I just got a deal because I got 2 of them. Anyway, I'll put a description down the bottom. Now let's get to taking the primary off. Now, one of the first things we got to do is to make sure you have room to get to all the bolts and stuff. Is the book, the manual says to remove this running board. But I've found basically you loosen these 2 bolts right here and take this rear mount. This will actually swing down a little bit so you can get to where you need to. But this way you can get to these bolts and better clear the primary off. So I'm going to remove this rear, which the new ones don't come with this, but I put that on there, of course. So I like the rear shifter. Take that off, and I'll move this out of the way so I can get to the screws. As you can see, I removed the rear screw, and of course I use the 5/16 Allen bit to do that. Then I just loosen the front one with the side stand down. This will swing out, which gives you plenty of room to get to the screws for the primary. Now, when you're trying to drain the primary, of course, it's preferable you've ridden it for a while. It's nice and warm. Let it cool off a little bit so I can touch it. It's not burning my hands. And one thing I suggest, if you're going to drain, even if you're draining it just to change the oil, loosen the derby cover. This way the air does not keep it from gurgling out. Now, what I did is to save the catch of oil, I just went down to the dollar store and bought a aluminum pan to catch it in. It's clean this way. I don't have to worry about contaminating the oil if I'm going to try to do something with it. If I'm just changing this, I want to use the oil, but this way I don't have to worry about contaminations. I can pour it into another container later. So we're going to loosen these right here so that I can take the cover off. Let me get to it. Now I've got the screw out, and you see it's really run out real fast. I'll just loosen these. Now make sure when you do take it off, you take and look at this. It's got a little magnet on there. It'll catch any extra stuff. Catch a little debris and stuff like this. Make sure it's not really coated real bad. And of course let it drain out. So this way you can also look, see the condition of the oil. And it's drained out real good. Now at this point, if you wanted to, if you're just going to adjust your clutch, you can take this off and you can get your clutch real easy to adjust it without taking the primary off. Because all you're going to do, like I said, regular maintenance for adjusting your clutch. Now don't forget, have to go around and loosen the clutch cable first before you try to adjust your clutch, because the clutch cable itself is tight, and that's one of the requirements for regular maintenance. I'm just going to take this off real quick and show you how easy it is to see. Where the clutch adjustment is. It's right here. You can actually adjust this without taking the primary off, but I'm changing this to a black one, so I'll be taking it off anyway. Just regular maintenance is right here, and of course you adjust your clutch cable on the other side. You gotta loosen it. I'll describe to you when I get over there. Now the clutch cable is got a little cover on it right here, which can be slid up. Let me slide that up and I'll show you. Now this is the clutch adjustment thing itself. You have two little tabs right here. You take a flat blade screwdriver or your fingers. You push a little spacer out and it loosens the clutch. Let me get that down, I'll show you. Now as you can see, it's loosened and this is popped out. This lets the cable be loose. Because what you need to do is push this up so that it takes the tension off the cable. Push that back in and lock it with it keeping the tension off the cable. I need two hands, so I'm going to go ahead and do that and I'll show you. Now I pushed this up so that it's locked it. So this now got the tension off of the cable itself. I'll go and I'll show you on the clutch lever itself how y'all have all the loose. Now the clutch lever is really loose now, so you can adjust the clutch itself. Now, this nut is a 17mm nut, and of course the Allen that goes in here to hold it is a 7/32 Allen. You basically just hold it, knock it loose, and pull it out. Now, they say just loosen it, but I recommend, and other people I know, the mechanics I know, recommend you pull it out a little bit so you don't make sure you don't get any tension on the nut itself. That nut's going to cause anything to happen. So what you do is you screw it in. You feel resistance. You feel a little bit of resistance right there. And you back it out a half a turn. Half a turn. Hold it. And that's where you lock in that right there. So that way it's locked in. Hold this, make sure it don't move, and you lock it in. Now, I adjusted the clutch right now so you can tell you can do it without taking the primary off. I'm going to take the primary off. I'll better check my tension on my chain. Now this is part of the regular maintenance. Matter of fact, you're supposed to check and adjust your clutch every time you, or I should say every 5,000 miles. And this is really easy to do. You don't have to drain any oil, and like this, just take the cover off and adjust the clutch cable so it's loose, so you got no tension on it. You can actually feel it right here, but it's there. And then do just what I did, and then you put it back together, and you go back to the other side, and you pop that little red lever out. The spring will pop back up, and then you clip it in, and that's adjusted. That is so much easier, because on the old cable clutches, you had to have a 1/2 inch and a 9/16, loosen it up and move it around and come around and test your tension. This is so automatic now. So I'm going to go ahead and go around and put my tension back on my cable, and my clutch will be adjusted. Now as you look, I pop this back out. This thing popped back up, and this made it better. And now I push it back in, clip. It's clipped back in. Make sure it's all the way back in. And I'll go back around and make sure my clutch is adjusted. Now, I went and made sure my clutch clears tension. And also, it says to give it 1/8 inch play. So I pull it like this, and there's my 1/8 inch. Now, I pull the cover back over. You gotta make sure you pull that cover back up over the cable clamp. And if you're just adjusting your clutch, you put the derby cover back on, and you're done. Now that my clutch is adjusted, all I do now is take these bolts out to change the primary cover over to my black primary cover. So I'm gonna go ahead and get them out and check the tension on the primary chain according to specifications. Now, one thing I did is I took all the screws out except for one, but I popped it loose to let the residual oil down here drain out into the pan. Because if you don't do that, as soon as you take that cover off, you're going to get oil all over your floor. So I suggest you leave one bolt in on the top. That way it'll stay in place. All the other bolts are out. And the 4 bolts over here are long bolts, whereas all the rest of them are the shorter ones. Make sure you remember which ones are the long ones, because they go in right here around the motor itself. So make sure you let this drain out so you can get the last oil out, so you don't have such a mess on the floor when you take the primary cover off. Now when I took the primary off, surprise to me, I found this bolted to the inside, because this one is the factory Harley one. See, there's the part number right there if you want the black one. Doesn't have it, but it's got a place to screw it into it. So I guess I need to move this over to here. So I guess that's to, who knows. But Harley's got it in there, so I'm gonna change it over. Now, I've got it over, I'm ready to put the cover back on. The chain looks good. Everything looks good in here. So I'm going to put a new gasket here. I am not being cheap. I want to make sure this does not leak. So I bought a new gasket to put here. It's got 2 locator pins here and here. They'll hold it in place while I put the primary in. As you can see, I moved that, whatever it is Harley's got there, over, and I'm going to slide this in place now. The locator pins, get them there to hold it while I get the bolts. Now, one thing you'll notice is when I showed you the parts, I bought a black bolt kit. I could put the factory bolts back in and it would be okay, but this could be all black. It's a black, vivid black, so I bought the black bolt kit. I'm going to get them put in right now. Now, when putting the primary on, the manual has a specific order for tightening the screws to make sure it gets done right. So I'm going to follow the order here and tighten them. I'm going to snug them up, and then I'm going to tighten them up to the required 144 to 156 inch-pounds. And that's the torque spec for it. So make sure you do this right. Now, if you take this off, now these bolts came with blue Loctite already on the bolts. And if you take yours off and use the same bolts to go back in there, make sure you use blue Loctite on these bolts to hold them in place. That's what's recommended. And with Harleys, yeah, I keep blue and red Loctite around. So let's get them in there. Now, I'm going to put the plug back in. But what I did, though, is I bought this gasket kit from Harley-Davidson. It's got a new O-ring to put on this. Put a new O-ring on there. Cheap insurance to making sure that the oil stays in where it's supposed to go. And you just screw it back in the hole, snag it up, and of course 5/16 inch wrench is the size it is. Snag it back up. And it's time to put the primary oil back in the primary. Now, Harley-Davidson sells a special funnel to put it in. I've got it around here somewhere, so let's find it. Or we can use a small one, which I've used for years. Let's get the oil in. Now, Harley-Davidson's got this special little funnel for putting it in. And of course, since I had the cover off, this is considered dry because I didn't drain it and then leave the cover on, so there's residual oil left in there. I drained it, wiped it off, so there's no oil left in there. So it's going to take 30 fluid ounces. Now, this has 32 fluid ounces in it. I took about 2 or so ounces out, so I'm going to put most of it in there. So just slowly pour it in. I don't want to do too much. Since I got this little funnel, makes it a little easier to get in there. And it's going to take most of it, so I can watch it go in. One thing I'm going to do though, I got some of it in there, about half of it in there. I'm checking to make sure it's not leaking down here. So, because it would really be a shame to put all the oil in there and then have it leaking out. So, let me go ahead and finish putting this in there, and then I'll show you what it looks like. Now, I don't know if you can see it or not, but this is just up there, just touching the bottom of the basket, the clutch basket. That's where it goes to right there. That's about 30 ounces, so that's where it goes to. Now that I have the required amount of oil in my primary, I'm going to put the cover on. Now, of course, this is the cover that was on before, nice chrome cover. I'm going to replace it with this custom painted one. And of course, it requires a new gasket. And of course, they changed the way they do gaskets. I don't know, I'm thinking it's 2019 and later. It uses this kind of gasket that fits in a little groove that fits in here. If you have the, I think it's 2018 or earlier, it's a gasket, a plate gasket, a flat gasket that fits in there. But this gasket here fits in a little groove, and they say it seals better. I'm not sure if it does or not, but hey, I'm not an engineer. Engineers figure that out, not me. so I take the cover off. Now this is custom painted. This one says U.S. Army. I really like that look of this. And of course, I put the gasket in, the little groove. And make sure you get it in the right way, because the gasket has got little knots on it to help hold it in place. Those need to go in first to hold the gasket in place when you go in, because there's not the little knots on the outside, and the gasket might shift and move. Now if you look, it's actually raised up above the edge, which helps hold it in place better. Now, I didn't buy the more expensive black derby covers. I might do it later, don't know. But like I said, it takes a Torx 27 to get it in. So the easiest way to do it is put in the top one first. You get it started. Once you get it started, the rest of them can go in real easy. So, we're going to get these in here. Then I'll bring this back up and we'll have it ready. Now, this is the other side. I'm going to take this Harley-Davidson emblem off. I'm going to put in here. It says I served, and then I'm a Vietnam veteran. So we'll take these Torx out and put this in. We'll see how it looks. Now the screws that come out, they're a T20. And here's the little Harley-Davidson emblem. Now this is where the points used to be. And then the electronic ignition, the electronic pickups and stuff. And of course, it's all controlled by computers now, and the cam position sensors and everything else. So I don't know why Harley still got this here, but hey, it's a place to put something different and not have a Harley-Davidson emblem up there. And of course, I don't know if you can see this or not. This is the emblem that's going on there. And that I'm proud to have served, and that I'm a Vietnam veteran. I could have gotten the same emblem on the large one, but I wanted to blatantly show that I was served in the Army. The Army emblem is here, but I want a big one saying the Army, and this right here shows the other side. Let me get this on there and you'll see how it looks. Here it is mounted back up. Now look at it closer. This is not an Army emblem. That's why I'm glad to have the Army on the other side, because it's just the emblem for the Republic of Vietnam. But I still have the chrome one on this side. I've changed the primary over to black on the other side to match the black primary cover. I might change this over to black in the future sometime, but right now, that's what I wanted and that's what I got. So, okay, here it is, all back together with the Army derby cover on there. Now, I don't have the black shifter alarms, and I don't have the black screws to the primary. I might change it later. I might just get my Vivid Black paint out and paint the screws rather than pay for extra stuff. But that right there, I think it looks real good. It's real nice. And I'll put the website in the description of where to go, where you can get the derby covers like this. And basically, you tell them what bike you got, what year, and they'll know the proper derby cover to put in, and proper, all the stuff that's right. There's all kinds of different schemes they have. They have skulls, they have crosses, they have Stars of David, you name it, they got it. And I was able to pick the ones that I wanted when I ordered it. And they actually have a lifetime warranty on the paint, I do remember. As long as you don't break it and twist it, they guarantee it won't come off. It won't wear off. And It's really nice. I think it really looks real good. I hope you enjoyed my little quick thing. Just to maintain your Harley, you don't have to take it to the dealer, do a lot of things. You can do it yourself. You read in your owner's manual, it talks about little things to check and make you adjust. The clutch is one of the important things to check and adjust. So you can do it yourself. You don't have to take it to the dealer. You can change the oil, change the primary, and change the regular oil. Do all that stuff yourself. But I haven't taken it to the dealer, have it done. So I hope I showed you some of the easy things to do. Doesn't take a lot of skill to change the primary cover. You saw how easy that was. And it changed the look of the whole thing because it is glossy. If you want to put different colors on there or do something different, put different primary covers on there, put different derby covers, timing covers. Just dress it up to make it yours. So, I hope this helps someone. I have got more videos I'm going to be putting in. I've decided I'm going to go ahead and install the WIM and put the cordless headset on. I've got the equipment. I've just got to do it. And also, to get ready for this coming summer, on my cross-country trips, I'm going to go ahead and install one of the what they call the cool fan kit that blows air down off the motor. Now, a lot of people want to put fans on the cylinders and everything else to cool the motor off. Well, trouble is that blows hot air on the rider. Harley-Davidson designed these to run in it moving so that the motor stays within operating temperatures, but a lot of times you blow the air across the cylinders, you're cooling the motor off, but you're heating you up. The kit that Harley sells, it basically is it's to keep the rider comfortable. It helps pull hot air off the motor, of course, and direct it down to the ground instead of coming up on the rider, or the passenger especially, because the fan's above the passenger. You got a passenger? Believe me, they're going to really like it again. So, if you like my videos, I think I'm doing a decent job, at least some information. Please share. Hit the thumbs up. That's a like. That helps the algorithms for YouTube. Now, I'm not getting paid for this stuff. I'm not what they call monetized. I'm doing this because I like doing it. I like to pass along information. I've been riding Harleys for a lot of years. I rode shovels. I rode flathead. I had one flathead for a while. I had a couple of shovels. I rode Evos. I had a twin cam, and now I got the M8. And believe me, I know a lot of junk that's just kind of floating around this brain of mine. So, share. Let the friends know that somebody knows a little bit. You got any questions? Hey, shoot me a question. I don't mind at all. You can actually email me if you want to at I can't remember the email address. I think email at roadgliderider.com. TheRoadGlideRider.com. I can't remember, but you can put a question in the comments down the bottom. I'll do it there too. I hope I remember what the email address is. Hey, I'm getting old. What can I say? But ride safe, have fun, and I'll see you on the road.